Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of the LED light test. This is going in conjunction with the how to change your headlights video, where I did a test installing an LED light on one side against the stock halogen on the other side, and I showed you what the difference was. Here's the thing, I contacted the company after that video. I said, hey, not happy with it. Showed them the video. They watched the clip. I said, hey, great job on the install, but that's not how you're supposed to do it. I said, what? He said, take the cage off the light. It's blocking 60% of the light. Okay, first of all, nothing on the website says that, and the documentation that they sent with the product doesn't say to remove the cage. In fact, it shows right here a very clear picture, step 5 of installing the cage, exactly as I did in my video. No mention anywhere up until in this reply from his email that I should remove the cage. He says, go ahead and try that, and if you still don't like it, we will give you a refund. And the entire reason I was kind of talking to them about it instead of just doing it is because their website says no refunds, which is ridiculous, number one. 2014. If it's not something that needs to be customized, even if it's a piece of electronics, this is 2014. You should be able to return a product, especially an LED headlight bulb. There's no wear, there's no customization. The customer likes it or doesn't, all right? It's not an ECU where you have to program something or change parameters in it. Those kinds of electronics, absolutely. I can see no refunds on that kind of stuff. But no, that's just not acceptable. But, they're being fair with me, I'm going to be fair with them. So I'm going to go through the complete pain in the ass and do another test. Let me show you what they wanted me to do. Here's their product, the LED assembly, as installed, as shown. And you can see it has this partial cage around it. This goes on the bottom in their documentation, on the website, and as you saw me install. Which, to me, makes sense, because the bottom of the light assembly, the housing itself, isn't reflective. This is the silver paint. And all at the top and sides and back is reflector. Yeah, that's where the light is coming from. This bottom is nothing. Okay? But they say this cage has to be completely removed. You do that by these two little Phillips screws here. And then you're left with this. Okay, so it gets installed like this. Your LEDs are still facing to the left and right. And I guess you would get a little bit more front throw just from the sides of the LEDs themselves. That's really about it. That bottom of the housing shouldn't do much. And here's the other thing. This cage really isn't blocking the LEDs. It's below the LEDs. So they're still getting full side throw of their light. So it's really only blocking the light facing down onto that painted surface. But even though I've got doubts as to what it'll do, I'm a fair guy. So here we go. Yet again, I'm going to stick this in, and I'll wait until sunset, do another test exactly the same as I did the other night, exactly the same settings. You'll be able to see it. And you know what, I'll tie in yesterday's video test clip to this test clip, so you can even see the change, not only stock to this, but this to that. So that should be a definitive test. On the plus side, if this by some miracle works and I am happy with it, if it not only, it's got to do two things for me to be happy with it. One, the throw has to be as good as OEM, because the OEM had a lot more light throw all over the road. This thing was very spotty, or this thing I should say, was very spotty in comparison to the OEM. Okay? The other thing is, it's got to be brighter. I don't think this was one bit brighter than OEM. At the most, I would say it was even, but I almost want to say it wasn't quite as bright. So I need to see a lot more light, and it's got to be even coverage, just like the OEM. Okay, here you can see the adapter installed without the cage. It's completely flush, completely correctly installed per new instructions. So let's get the new LED in there again. Okay, LED reinstalled. It's a little cocked, but that's the way it goes in. It does not sit in that bayonet at a perfectly level position. That's the way both are, and that's the way it was, of course, with the cage in the last test also. But you can see it's perfectly mounted. And now let's do a function check. Alright, here in the daylight, to my eye, it looks absolutely identical to the last test. Of course, the only difference is in the housing, we're seeing a little more light on the bottom. But looking at it straight on, looks exactly the same. There's no more light showing, so I really didn't expect there to be. But of course, this is not the real test by any means. When I see people posting this, oh, look at the difference. It means absolutely nothing. And neither does this. Oh, look at the light difference on the wall. It means absolutely nothing. Alright. Come on, sunset again. Okay. Time to do the final test. I'm anxious to see what happens, but I'm honestly not going to expect much. I think it's going to be maybe a little bit different spread, but the same brightness. We'll see though. Anyway, I want to show you exactly how I'm doing the test. This is the only way that you can do this kind of test. Anything else is simply inaccurate and absolutely meaningless. Alright, I'm going to take the bike and I'm going to go down to the end of the driveway, put it in the street, facing down the street. I'm going to turn it on, camera on a tripod. You have to use a semi-recent DSLR that has video, that has really good low light capability, and you have to have it on a tripod here, and you have to have a wide fast lens. I've got a 24-70 on here. And it's a 2.8, that's fast enough. My settings are shutter speed of 50th of a second. That's really not important because nothing's moving in the video. ISO of, what am I at? 5,000. And I'm at 2.8. So this gives me, it's a little bright on the phone here, but believe me, what I'm seeing out of the video is exactly, or not exactly, but you know, really close to what I see with my naked eye. So this shining down the street, taking the video with these settings, is what I see. So not only what it looks like compared bulbs to bulbs, but it is very accurate, as if I'm just showing you what I'm seeing through my eyes. And then some people were confused in the first test I did. They thought they were photographs, or they thought they were a before and after. I did the whole swap and everything. No, it is one video. Okay, I'm just pressing record, doing one video, and what I'm doing, I have the LED in the left side of the bike here and the stock in the right, and I'm just covering up one light at a time with a towel and doing this. Okay, and all I did is edit out the part where I flopped the towel over. But I'll do this in one continuous take, so you'll see the, you know, the shadow of the towel covering up the lights. And I'll do the same kind of test here. And then, like I said, I will clip in the part 1 so you can see the direct comparison of just the effect of taking the cage off along with the side-by-side here. And we'll see what happens. You know, I'm really curious. But we're finally dark enough. It's about an hour after sunset. And I just have to make sure that the one street light, which for some reason flickers on and off pretty randomly, I have to wait until it turns off, and then we'll see how it looks. Okay, here you can see the setup. Got the bike on the center stand. Bulbs are correctly leveled. You can see I'm just waiting for that street light to shut off here. It'll go off in a minute. But I got my camera set up, got to put my card in, and then I will start recording the test. Got my towel. I'm going to cover one light at a time, and I'm also going to do another test to show you why I can already see these are not going to be usable. I have a little couple surprises here. All right, there goes the light. It has the weirdest light. So I'm going to start my test here and show you what I find. Okay, that was the same test I did. So right away, I can see it is brighter than it was before. I'm still not going to call it day and night from stock. It is brighter than stock. I will give it that. It is certainly a brightness improvement along with better color. I still love the white color. All right, so it is, with that cage off, brighter than stock and noticeably brighter than with the cage on. Absolutely ready to admit that. Unfortunately, here is why I'm not going to run these. If you look on the left, well, you won't see it in this video. I'm going to turn it back on now that that light just went off, and I'm going to show you the cutoff. There is no cutoff. With this LED bulb completely exposed, those LEDs, which you see right there, are directly facing people. Stock bulbs have a cap in the front. There is no direct light. That's there not only for legal reasons, because the laws everywhere in every civilized country say you can't blind oncoming traffic, but it stops the light from just going everywhere. See those two glowing bulbs? That is shining everywhere, way above the traffic line. I'll show you here in this next clip the difference in the cutoff between the stock H4 bulb and running these LEDs wide open like this, which is not legal, and why I can't use them. I would be getting tickets every time I passed a cop. Hold on. So again, here at the end, very mixed results, very mixed feelings. I do like the light output. If that cutoff could be right, could be legal, if it had the correct assembly to work with the reflector assemblies like the stock bulbs do, I would keep them, even though they are open to the elements. And let me show you something else I don't really like about the design. You remember this guy from part 1? The weatherproofing seal that goes around every part of the light mount when it's stock. This can't be used with these. It would attach right here in the center. This is already bigger than the stock bulb. This is what would be fitting through here. So this would have to be cut just to install it here, and then none of this would be covered at all because it would be in back. Okay, it would be sitting like this. So there's not even any point in installing this. This is to protect the bulb assembly and the mount and any water from getting in. And it does get wet. I washed my bike very gently this morning and this was wet. So this is very important to have. The other huge problem, the wiring connection for these lights is facing up and it's not weatherproof. When you plug that wiring connection into there, not only does it not fully seat, there's no rubber, there's no seal whatsoever. It's just open flimsy plastic. Water is going to pool right in there if it gets in there because it'll be completely exposed. Water will be in these fins. Obviously, this all has to be exposed. This is for cooling it. These are air cooling fins. You can't cover these up. So all of this is exposed. If this was pointing down, that would eliminate most of the problem with the design right there. But it's not. It's facing up. So, bummer. So again, you know, maybe the technology works a lot better in other kinds of mounts. At least for my particular bike, it's absolutely no go. Like I said, that would be a ticket magnet. That is just like having your high beams on, blinding oncoming traffic with the beam. So it was up in the trees. You could see it clear as a bell. You could see how high that was just because it had completely exposed LEDs, elements, whatever you want to call them. They're just like little flashlights. Boom. You can't control it. Stock bulb, none of that. There is zero direct light from a stock bulb. And that's the way it has to be. That's the way it was with the cage on. You didn't see any of that in the first test because it had the protector on. And that's what it's for. So while taking that cage off, per their recommendation, did increase the light output, I'll give them that. It's not legal. Can't use it. So there you go. I gave it a fair shot. I've done everything I possibly can to get these to work. and to like them. I really did want to like them. I love the color. I love the way it looks on the bike. I like the color on the street, especially with the increased brightness that the second test gave. That made up for the perceived difference in color because they're a higher color temperature. You do perceive a little bit less light to the naked eye, but that increased brightness completely eliminated that byproduct. All right, well, that's it. I can't think of anything else to do, so these will be going back, and hope it helps somebody else make up their mind. You know, like I said, I'm a fair guy, want to give them a fair shake, and I've done everything I can possibly do. That's just the way it is. That's how they work. That's all you get. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share the site, TwoWheelObsession.com. If you're just viewing these on YouTube, definitely go over to the site because there's a lot more than just my videos on the site. I've got 5 guys on there. We're all posting really cool videos, and there's more people coming. If you're doing these kind of how-to videos or longer tour videos, kind of like you see on the site, give me an email. I will be glad to feature you on the site, totally free. See ya.